the table. Nice into 15. Oh, and very late. Little bumpy. Hundredths of a second. That's less than the blink of an eye. Welcome back to Sigulda in Latvia for the final time in 2025 for Skeleton as we complete our third and fourth heats of the Skeleton weekend here. Well, it's not a 4-heat race like the World Championships is, or like the Olympics will be, but two heat races over 2 days. So in terms of simulation of that mental fatigue and that physical fatigue of the discipline needed for the Olympic Games in February, it's a great dress rehearsal. So what about this Sigulda track? Well, it's a former Soviet track. USSR used Latvia as the training ground for their bobsleigh and luge athletes, and the Latvian drivers won the medals for the Soviet Union in the Cold War era. And as a result, it is tight and twisty. Steep drop at the start means that it's a really explosive start. Through corner 1 and 2, imperative to be super clean, and 3 into 4 as well. Then the 5-6 transition can be quite hard getting onto 6 cleanly. 7, 8 and 9, this upper labyrinth, and down to the right-hander at turn 10. And this is where 10, 11 and 11-12 crossover decides where you come into 13 and 14. And out of 14, the first straight since the start. All the way up to 15, avoid skidding and tapping. Good height in 15, important. A clean exit more so, because it's uphill into 16. The 270-degree Kreisel at the end of the run. So a real sting in the tail, with the Kreisel not in the middle, but as the last huge corner. Now the air temperature is still +5. It's windy as well. Ice is at -3. They've been sweeping and polishing off the frost from earlier, but with that wind in the air and the humidity, it will frost up even quicker tonight than it has done so far. So our men's skeleton field, the same as it was yesterday. No additions, no subtractions, and everybody going for another chance to improve on their performance from yesterday. It's not an accumulated time over the 4 runs. Each is an individual race. So we had our results from yesterday. Matt Weston, the winner, from Marcus Wyatt, and Felix Kaisinger back on the podium for the first time since 2021. A long drought broken. There's Sammy Meyer. He might have a great opportunity here. He's been quick on this track before. And a good opportunity for former winner Marcus Wyatt. He won the last race before yesterday, silver medal yesterday, and he goes off first from Rasmus Johansson, Felix Kaisinger. Matt Weston goes off 7th, and we have to look a long way down our order to 18th place before we get to the Olympic champion Christopher Groothair. That's a better starting draw than he had yesterday, though, where he was down outside the 20. Now the fastest 25 of 32 go through, so that will be the first drama. Race 4, IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup. We're in Sigulda in Latvia. Martin Haven watching the action trackside with you as Marcus Wyatt blasts away from the block. Starts 4:52, yesterday's silver medalist behind his teammate Matt Weston, and the winner here in the second, in last year's race. A little tap, 3 into 4, 5 into 6. Now smooth down through 13 and 14 is really important, and the exit of 11 here sets that up. Clean through 12 into 13, through 14, nice clean exit, straight as a die. Good height in 15, 1:17.8, 72.8 miles an hour. That is quick already, using the fresh ice to great effect. Big run from Marcus Wyatt, 50.02. Well, now, the timing is slightly different and the track is slightly different to yesterday, but for fun, let's take a look at where we were yesterday. Well, Matt Weston's first run of 49.81 Marcus Wyatt's first run, a 50.71 yesterday. At a similar, it wasn't actually, it was midday yesterday, but a little bit colder ice maybe, and freshly spritzed. There's been 2 hours since the end of the two-man race.
Not bad, better than yesterday. One more to go.
That must have felt quick. 7/10 quicker than yesterday. That must have felt quick. Now, big start draw, great opportunity for Rasmus Johansson, the Dane. 21st World Cup race for him. He finished 14th equal yesterday. There was a lot of dead heats on this track. Best here, 13th place. That was last season. So the 23-year-old Dane. Sister Nana had 2 races already this weekend. This is the second for the men. 4:73. So 2/10 behind Marcus Wyatt. Wyatt and Weston are going to be 2 of the fastest starters in the field. But Rasmus Johansson, coached by the Germans, does know a thing or two about getting down an ice track. Now, he's not the most experienced here. The British team do a lot of time pre-season here, have for a number of years. Oh, and big skids below the labyrinth. That is going to be very costly, very late indeed. 13 into 14, just survives. If that was a bobsleigh, that would have been a horrible crash. Second best speed, but 10 miles an hour slower than Marcus Wyatt. 53.16. Marcus Wyatt, 50.02. A horrible run for Rasmus Johansson, and he will be in danger of not making the second heat. This is as close to a crash as you get without actually coming off the sled. Comes down very early and then very, very high in 13. I'm sure he was on his shoulders, he was. And then just tossed like a rag doll into 14. He's not driving at that stage. Now he's just looking to see where he ends up. That was brutal. 50.9, 51.06 were his 2 runs yesterday, and that's a 53.1. It happens, it does happen. I don't think that's going to make the heat. Now then, yesterday's bronze medalist, his first medal, I said, since 2021. It's since December 2023, in fact. So still 3 long years for Felix Kaisinger. Moved up to 7th in the World Cup order. 4:60, that's another strong start. Kaisi among the top 3 or 4 starters in the field. And as he gets older, his sliding experience grows, and his calm on the sled, particularly in the first heat, where he was always a little bit over-driving, seems to have really worked. Not a bad-looking run. 3/10 back on Wyatt, though, and again, very high in 13. Little late flop out of 14, drags all the way down the wall into 15. Double tap down the straight into 16, and through this 3 pressure kreisel, or 2 and a bit. 6,300s back, 50.65. Yeah, a bit of a grimace there from Bundestrainer Christian Bauder. Felix will not be happy with that. Don't see him getting a medal off that one unless something really... Well, actually, on this racetrack, really dramatic stuff is almost guaranteed. But he's going to need a lot of help from later sliders to try and turn that first heat into a medal. Late off 14, still hooked up on the corner, comes across, taps the wall. Then the nose of the sled just kind of stays there. He's trying to straighten it up and run parallel. 1 more to go, and then Christmas. Lin Chinwei of China in a 3-way tie for 9th place last night. Not the only tie in our top 25 either. And that turns out to be his best result on this track. Not a 3-way tie, but a 9th place finish. It's only his 12th World Cup, and Lin in 9th place in the overall World Cup standings. They are led by Matt Weston. 4:54, good getaway, only 200s behind Marcus Wyatt. So let's see if he can convert that into speed. Quiet down to 2. Little tap 3 to 4, that's perfectly acceptable. 1500s back already though, maybe had to work a little harder through 1 than he wanted. Trickling down through the labyrinth, out of 10, into 11. Handle that second pressure, drives off nicely. 12-13, wild on the exit of 13. Bumping down the wall into 15. And out of 15, scrabbling to get onto the straight for 16. Goodness me, a second and 1500s back. What are they doing? What's happening here? Well, what did Lin do yesterday? Lin Chen Wei, 50.95 and 50.82. He's just come down 50.17, nearly a quarter of a second slower than his slower run yesterday. Well, those errors, 11, 12, 13, is not behaving the way that it did yesterday, plainly, at lunchtime, early afternoon, because everybody apart from Marcus Wyatt has had big dramas with it. And he probably thought he'd had big dramas. And then bumping down the wall. All right, well, one good race out of Sigulda. Probably not enough for anybody, but might have to be enough for Lin. Now, what about Axel Jung? 4th in the World Cup standings after a 4th place finish, after a 7th place finish yesterday. His worst of the season. 6th in Cortina. Silver medal in Lillehammer. And then 7th last night. But yesterday afternoon was his best ever race on this track. 4:62. A 10th adrift of Marcus Wyatt, the leader at the start. Axel, less about the start and all about the drive. Like Wyatt, a long, lean athlete. And that ideal shape cleaves the air nicely. Whoop, a little bit of extra height. Controls 11, no he doesn't. Skids into 12, clips 13 on the way in. Knows that the drama is there, drives it well, drives it hard, but drives it well. Came out of 14 nicely. 3rd best speed. 4th place on the splits. He's going to be behind Lin Chen Wei at the line. No, he's not. He's ahead of him. So Lin lost a lot of time down at the bottom. So it's Marcus Wyatt, Felix Kaisinger, and Axel Jung at the moment. So 50.94. Again, it is a little fruitless to compare with yesterday. Marcus Wyatt was 7/10 quicker in his first run than he was yesterday. I'm not sure that Axel was quite that quick. You see him get nudged away there into 13, and then he knows he has to steer hard to make sure that there's not a catastrophe at the end of 14. Off 14, comes down the straight, nice and straight. Now he can just sort of lean with his head and let the sled drift over to the left. Don't say Happy Christmas yet, you might have another run to do. 51.0 in his first heat, 50.9 in his second. Now then, what about Austria? And what about Sami Meyer? Bronze medalist here in December 2024. Can he take another one in December 2025? Well, the answer is he's got the potential. 4.80, 6th best start. But if he can come down clean here, and it sounds nice and quiet, he might have a chance to creep ahead of the 2 Germans. 2nd best speed, quicker than Kaisi, quicker than Jung. 6th on the splits from the start. It's taking a while to undo that start. Needs a clean run to 15. It's kind of there. 3rd best speed. No, out to 7/10 away. Wow, this is a dramatic first heat already. And Sami Meyer, 3rd place, 8/10 away. So he's 900s ahead of Axel Jung. Wow, suddenly Marcus Wyatt, his run is looking like it was turbocharged. We're only 6 sleds in, And nobody is close. Matt Weston's mum and dad there. Hey, sorry. Late again. Out of 12 into 13, 13 into 14. A hard take on into 14. And he's still coming out on the corner. Big sideways landing. That's dragging the speed out of the sled. He paid for that all the way to the line. One more. Now then, Matt Weston. Now, he led by a big margin. What is it, 3900ths after the third heat? No, 6500ths. And that is the margin that Marcus Wyatt has at the moment over Felix Kaisinger. So Matt Weston in good form yesterday, still not pushing 100%. And yet the fastest starter in the field on both runs. 4:61. All right, so Marcus went 4:52. So now the battle is on between the last two winners on this track. 900s back at the start. Can he outdrive his teammate? 2600s back at the start. He is going to have to be flawless down here. Second best speed, but his teammate Marcus Wyatt, the leader, was fastest. 3200s back. The gap's continuing to grow. 3100s back. He's stopped the bleeding, but no ice left. Best speed. He's not going to take the lead from here. Good 15, good 16. How close does he get? 1300s back. Now the game is on. Now that makes it more of a normal race. All right, words of encouragement as ever at the bottom from Martin Stukors. He and Matthias Guggenberg are there at the back of the shot, the coaching duo that look after these British athletes have got such a happy ship.
Bit to clean up.
Bit to clean up. I'm sure Marcus would say the same, but they'll go in reverse order in the second heat. Will there be anybody between them? Will they be the last two of 2025? We'll have to wait and see. Does Chen Wen Hao have something to say? The 29-year-old, best here of 5th place last year, only 13th yesterday afternoon. Really disappointing run by his standards. 2 8th places in Cortina and Lillehammer, and then 13th yesterday. Not where he wanted to be. Now the Chinese as well do spend time here pre-season, so it's not like this is the track that he knows least in Europe. Maybe one of the ones he knows best. 900s back at the start, 4:61, same start as Matt Weston. Drives away from 4 to avoid the tap, but that is going to cost him speed. 3/10 back, out to 6th fastest. 6th best speed. Weston was quicker at this stage. How close is Chen going to get? At the moment, 6th is his teammate Lin. Now he's up to 5th, ahead of Axel Jung. 5th best speed. Weston was fastest down here and he's all over, driving down 15 into 16. Big heights in 16, 50.92. So from the same start as Matt Weston, he came down 77 thousandths slower. Nearly 0.8 of a second slower from the same start as Weston. Well, here's part of the reason, off 15. Watch how busy he is. Toe steering, dragging again. Skid there. He gets a tap, then he's having to correct that. You see the left rudder go out, the right rudder go out, the left rudder go out again. Whew. He was motoring there, wasn't he? And in 16, big early height. And of course, the shortest way between 2 points is a straight line, or as straight as you can manage. Next up for Korea, Jung Seung-gi. Best race for him on this track, a bronze medal in December 2021. That was the last medal for Korea in skeleton on this track. 9th man down out of 32 in our heat. It's not untidy, but he might be driving a little too much. Only the 9th best speed. That means he is the slowest man so far. Oh. Falls off 15, wrong side going into 16. That's a big double wave across the line. 1.19 back, 51.21. Hands on hips, Coach Jeff Payne. 468, decent start. Nothing wrong with that. 7th best start, but 8th at the bottom, just ahead of Rasmus Johansson. And I do think Rasmus is not going to get a final run before Christmas. Look at the height here, right up by the woodwork. Just a little early. Need to be sort of apexing about over the L in tangle. So he comes down early, and the centrifugal force just keeps pushing and pushes him up onto the wall on the outlet. Still with that plaster on his chin after cutting it in training. And next up, our 10th athlete is our 3rd from China already, Yin Sheng. 2nd in the World Cup point standings at the moment. Yin has been 3rd, 6th and 4th this season. He's had a gold and a bronze medal on this track. Winner here in 23-24, bronze medalist 2 seasons ago, tied with Sami Meyer. And this is the only World Cup track on which he has claimed 2 medals, so this is his best track. 4.70, may not be the one he likes most, but it's the one he's got 2 medals on. And even at home, he hasn't got that. Nice smooth run so far. Looping height in 10. Little toe steer on the end of 11. 12.13 is clean enough. Not too bad, 13.14. That should help build speed. Look at the straight. Good run here. Very good run from Yin Sheng. Only the 6th best speed. Is he going to claw his way a little up the order? Is he going to be in amongst his teammates? Yeah, he's ahead of Lin Chen Wei. And he is, what, 600s only behind Chen Wen Hao. That's not a bad effort. At the moment, 7th. He's going to be in what is always the tough group between about 3rd and 18th. It's always an absolute dogfight. Big height in 13. And into 14, just I beg your pardon, big height in 12, into 14, a little offline. Out of 15, again, early height means late off. Not as bad as some. 10 sleds in, Marcus White leads Matt Weston and Felix Keisinger, yesterday's podium, but in a slightly different order. Allez. Lucas Defaye from France, the 28-year-old, finished in 22nd place yesterday. Best here, an 18th place finish in December 2024. Defaye coming a little late into the season, didn't race in Cortina. So 11th best start. He's not the fastest out of the blocks, but does drive well. Coming from La Plagne in France, he's used to a track where the corners require more than just gliding through them. Lots of physical input at La Plagne. It's a real driver's track, and so is this. Like Altenburg, like Lake Placid. You can't be Placid. 1.2 back, 8th best speed though. If he can keep it relatively clean into 16, not too loopy, could be inside the top 10, is 51.59. Little uncomfortable dismount there. And some high fives. It's a big on the high fives here. Don't leave him hanging. He hasn't seen you. Oh, now he has. Now he's going back. So swapping hands and loading. One of the more difficult bits of the business of starting these sleds. And then here, the rest of it is far from easy. Encore une fois, as Sash once said. 11 down in our field of 32, so we get to 12 spot now with Kim Ji-soo. February 2023, his best result on this track, finishing in 8th place. He was 18th yesterday. And that's sort of the mark of his season, I'm afraid, this year. 14th, 18th, and 18th. 461 getaway. So a couple of tenths quicker than Luca Di Faye, who we've just seen. 4th best start. And from a similar start, Chen Wenhao of China is in 5th position. And Chen is 9 tenths back. So the top 10 coming by 9 tenths of a second. Top 5 rather. Only the 12th best speed though. Runner choice is such a gamble with these weather conditions. It's not as fast as it was in training, or the ice is not as clean as it was in training, if you like, because of the frost. And they're trying to predict the night before what the weather's going to be like this evening. Not easy. 51.31. So he comes in 1.3 seconds back from the same start, 4 tenths slower than Chen Wenhao of China. Again, not an utter catastrophe, but only 10th place at the moment with a lot of sliders still to come. Again, on the straight from 14, just trying to use that left rudder to drag the sled over towards the left-hand wall, and there to drag it away from a big impact with the wall going up to 16. To be honest, he could have left it without that steer and just taken a fractionally harder hit. Would probably have cost him a little bit less. Well, there's the needle spikes on the underside of the shoe that allows these athletes to sprint on ice. And there is the shoes wearer, Vladislav Heraskevich. World Cup best yesterday of a 6th place finish here. I beg your pardon, of a 5th place finish. His previous best was 6th, finished 5th yesterday. A really strong run from Vlad. 475, knows this track inside out, grew up here, literally as well as metaphorically. Wears the bruises, I'm sure, physically but not mentally. This is where he learned to slide, and it's still his second home. 11th at the start, 2300s back. 6th best speed. Now let's see him turn on the taps. Nice smooth transitions. Little late out of 13, needs to be straight out of 14, he's got it. 9 tenths back, top 5 speed. Oh, wanted a cleaner 15 to 16. 16 isn't bad. At the line, he's in 8th place, 51.12. Makes the most of that. Uses that knowledge. I mean, the gaps are huge. 1.1 seconds back. 500s ahead of Lin Chen Wei. So he's in 8th position. That might be sort of top 12 by the end of the heat. Maybe around 14th, 15th. If he's not particularly lucky with how everybody else goes. The longer this heat progresses, the more you're going to be punished by running into areas of the track that others haven't used. That frost slows you down, whether you do anything wrong or not. So now then, 19-year-old Latvian Emils Indriksons, our youth Olympic champion from 2024. Yesterday, his World Cup best out of 3 starts was a 12th place. 23rd in Cortina, 23rd in Lillehammer, and 12th on home ice yesterday. Now with a 4.63, 8th best start, he's really got the opportunity to do well here again. He's got that I have to do well thing yesterday out of his system. Now, hopefully he can just relax into this and enjoy it. Well, he'd been up to 7th, back down to 8th on the splits, only the 11th best speed. If he can be clean here, and he is, really good run out of 14. Ideal in 15, good exit, uphill to 16, 4th best speed, here we go. Watch that number counter change at the line, 7th place, 50.95. Takes a lot to impress his coach, doesn't it? Ivo Steinbergs. Yeah, okay, yeah. This kid is 19. I'm not going to say that some of the athletes in the field were sliding before he was born, because I don't think that is true. But certainly a lot of the coaches were. Not sure anybody here has had a 19-year career yet. Maybe from the first days on ice. Actually, do you know what? Florian Auer has, hasn't he? Because I can remember him telling us his dad took him down on the sled when they were like 2 and 3, kneeling above them on a skeleton sled from the top. In Innsbruck, obviously, you know, because you do. Anyway, Austin Florian from the USA, one of the fastest starters in the business. 6 World Cup here. And his best, a 5th place in February 2024. Tied for 14th yesterday. 4.53, a really strong start. Just 100 slower than Matt Weston, the race leader. And Austin always has that big, booming start. It just seems maybe a little over tense on the sled sometimes. Doesn't quite flow and relax. Maybe that's what the sled needs. 11th best speed. He's our 15th slider. And already slipping out to 6th position. But if he can hold somewhere in the top 7 or 8 to the line, that'll be a really good first run. The track is not holding its speed. Pinballs up to 16. And so a top 10 finish has gone at the line. 13th place. 51.49. We can see how much speed he lost as he didn't really quite make it all the way up the in run. He'll be frustrated with that again. Come on, Austin. He is so intense, Austin Florian. And almost getting into a race where he's got the mindset of, I really don't care. Might just start to unlock a little bit more of that natural speed. I'm sure it's in there. And I think he's sure it is as well. It's just, how do you release that demon or that angel? For Italy then, with this very distinctive helmet livery this year, Mattia Gaspari, the man from Cortina. World Cup best here, 8th place last season. He was in that 3-way tie for 9th yesterday. 4.77 getaway. Well, yesterday he started 4.82 and 4.81. So the second day he's going a little quicker off the top. Nice 3 to 4. And he just flows down this track like a river. And that's what you need to see from these sliders. If you get the steers right, then the sled just rolls from corner to corner, and he's doing a really nice job. 14th at the start, was up to 13th, and that's a great exit out of 14. on the right side for 15, third best speed, big exit out of 15, up to 16, the line is good, the speed is good, and the result is 8th at the line. 14th at the start, 8th at the line. That Achilles injury before Pyeongchang, boy, that had such a big effect on his speed. It's never quite come back. But he has not forgotten how to drive a sled. Cannot wait to see him on ice again in Cortina. His hometown. He lives just a 5 or 10 minute walk from the track. Not just a home games as in there in Italy.
Give me, baby, one more run.
They've come to his town. One more run and then it's Buona Natale. Okay, Youth Olympic champions all over the place. Here is our 2020 Youth Olympic champion. Now at the tender age of 23, Lucas Nydegger. So we've got 2 Youth Olympic champions and 1 men's skeleton Olympic champion in the field. And he's yet to come. 4:82 for Lucas. Not the fastest starter. But again, has started to really turn him some good driving performances. Again, just like Mattia Gaspari, trickles through 3 and 4 with no dramas. 5 and 6 the same. That's often a heavy transition. Out of 10, nicely on to 11. No toe dragging. Listen how quiet his run is. You're hearing his chin hit the ice a couple of times. That's the sort of scratchy noise. 12th best speed there again. G-forces grinding the head into the ice. 16th at the start. I think he's going to be 16th at the bottom. No, 15th, just ahead of Luca Defaye of France. So a 51.53 run. Best of 13th, yesterday 20th, and right now in 15th, so kind of hovering between the two. That fell away from him yesterday in the second heat. Maybe today he can turn that around a little. He was 20th in the first heat and ended up in 20th place, 20th place. Couldn't find an improvement. First run, 51.62 yesterday, 51 dead in the second heat.
You can say anything about Sigulda, but at least there's a crowd.
And the racing is always crazy. Now then, from Youth Olympic champions to Olympic champion. Our most recent Olympic champion in men's skeleton, Christopher Grothead, the 33-year-old from Germany. 16th yesterday, but he started way out in the back of the pack. 29th out of 32 sleds yesterday. He's got a slightly better start draw at 18 this time. 4.72 getaway. He is a super competitive slider. Has been struggling with a torn calf since the beginning of the season. So 12th best start. May well be that is nagging him as well in his driving. His doesn't seem to have been his sort of fluid best. 17th speed. He's only the 18th sled down. One slower, and I'm willing to bet it was Rasmus Johansson of Denmark. Good exit from 14. Speed comes back up to 11th fastest. Good exit from 15. That's how you approach 16. And that's how you drive 16. And there's the result. Up 2 places in that final quarter. 51.25. But still, a second and a quarter away from the leader. 1.1 seconds away from second place. And 0.6 away from bronze. He is not yet in contention. And the start draw on this frosty track does not help. If it was -4, -5, and the ice was at the same, it would be hard and fast and glossy, and he would have been probably in the top 6, even from that start. But it isn't, and he isn't. So sled being weighed. as at the top of the track. Chu Haifeng from China. Yesterday equaled his previous World Cup result here, a 17th place finish. And that's his worst of the season. He was 8th in Cortina and 11th in Lillehammer. But a PB on this track. 4:59, strong starting from the Chinese athlete. Fourth fastest, just 700ths off the very best. He's gone from 700ths back to 4/10 adrift. And that's at the top of the labyrinth. Into 11, only 16th best speed. Comes out clean. Nicely into 13, into 14, well, gets a good exit. Up to 11th on the splits, or out to 11th on the splits, but top 10 speed. Oh, little late flop off 15, skids onto the wrong side going into 16, big height. Across the line, it is still a top 10 run, 51.11. So, a little smile on the face of coach Patrick Shannon, 51.11. And that puts him in 10th place. Yin Cheng is in 9th. Chen Wenhao is in 5th. And Lin Chen Wei is in 12th. So 9th, 10th, and 12th for 3 Chinese sliders. Chen Wenhao is the outlier, up in 8th. Up in 5th, rather. Didn't do a bad job. Little high five with the kids as well. Now from Italy, Amadeo Bagnes finished in 6th place yesterday evening. That was his best result on this track, and actually his first top 6 finish of the season. 19th in Cortina, 12th in Lillehammer, 6th here. 4:57, just 500ths off the starter Marcus Wyatt. That start is coming back for Bagnes. He was among the very fastest when he took the World Championship silver medal in St. Moritz a couple of seasons ago. That seems like a bit of a while ago when the Italians were really strong. Now they seem to be struggling a little. 4th at the start. Out to 8th, out to 9th, out to 11th back. 14th best speed, nothing like enough. Scrambled all the way to 16, clattered the wall out of 16, 51.23. Could have been worse, should have been a lot better. Amadeo was 11th. Where was he? Yeah, he was 11th after the first heat yesterday. 14th at the moment. Climbs in 15, but comes down too early. The height is too soon. Not much, but enough. And he can't bring it down late enough. And the sled gets pushed back up as gravity continues to work on it. That centrifugal force, it's what keeps you on the walls, but it isn't always your friend. Matt Weston chases Marcus Wyatt. Felix Kaisinger heads the rest of them. So 20 sleds down in quick succession. Next up is Florian Auer, his 60th World Cup start. Still just 31. Last off yesterday, 32nd with the frostiest track. But he still managed to drive himself into the race. He was 22nd after the first heat, from 32nd in the draw, and drove himself up to 21st. His World Cup best, a 10th place here back in December 2018. That was the first World Cup race of the current era on this track. And the 4:87 leaves him 21st. He needs to really drive this superbly. try and put a couple of sleds behind him, because don't forget, only the fast 25 go through. He clips the wall going into 15. 13th best speed. He's working hard on this, trying to let the sled do its thing, and across the line, 20th. A bit of an impassive Mickey Grunberger. Florian shakes his head. Not what he produced in the first run yesterday. Well, he has one sled behind him at the moment. That's Rasmus Johansson. And there is danger behind. That may not be enough to make the second heat today. A whisker late out of 15, bumps the wall. Has to steer down the straight, not by much, but by a little. Yeah. All right, next up is Nick Tucker from the USA. Finished 32nd yesterday, did not make the cut. First time in Sigulda, so this is his first week on this ice, first time at this track, and that makes life really hard. Everybody else with so much more racing experience here. 479. You have to learn the tracks at some stage. And when you come from North America, you've done your junior circuits on those North American tracks, but they're not included in this year's calendar, then you're going to be at a deficit. 18th at the start. 21st place at the moment. He needs to put one, or if he can, two sleds behind him. Oh! Hugely late out of 13. 21st speed, oof, and again, grinding down out of 15, hits the wall into 16, speed dropping away from the sled. 22nd at the line, and that's not going to be enough. 53.28. So he's in 22nd, Rasmus Johansson in 21st. I think neither of them are likely to make the second heat, but in Sigulda, anything is possible. Look at that big spike coming into 11. Now he's steering hard to get it off clean, and it comes off way too late. And that's because he was way too late on to 11, and then later yet out of 13, gets thrown onto 14. He's got half a second to kind of gather it all up before he's onto the straight at the end of 14. 23rd of our starters, Valentino Buff. Now, Valentino, just 19 years of age. And he is the fourth of the sliding family. Jean-Jacques, the oldest brother, 28. Vincent, who comes up next, 23. Their sister Maya, 22. And there's another brother at home, 15-year-old, who is also sliding. What makes you think they grew up right beside the track in St. Moritz? .512 to start, 23rd place. But both the brothers, in fact all three of the brothers that we've seen, really slide nicely. They're fluid, they're smooth. That sort of Gregor Staley look that they have about them. Nice exit from 14 up to 15. 19th best speed. He's clicked up one. He's ahead of Nick Tucker. Does he get ahead of Rasmus Johansson? Yes. Does he get ahead of Florian Auer? No. 52.40 at the line behind Auer, but two sleds behind him. I'm sure when they wake up in the morning, they can hear the track announcements from the Cresta Run and from the bobsleigh track. The family home is right beside it, by the curling sheet outside the Kulm Cafe. Their father was a Cresta slider. They started as Cresta sliders and then moved, when they wanted a bit more of it, onto the bobsleigh track. Kids are only allowed to race once a year on the Cresta. And so Valentino Buff, at the moment, with a couple of sleds behind him, may be getting a second heat. Let's see where we get to. He was 27th yesterday, and Yuri van Kopperveld was 28th. Yesterday, though, Yuri's best World Cup finish. It's only his 6th World Cup start. This year's been 29th, 31st, and 28th. So yet to make a cut in 5 prior starts. Is today the day? 4:67. Well, quicker than Valentino Buff by some margin. 12th best start. And as every coach always says, give me a starter and I'll turn them into a slider. The other way round is hard. Nice quiet run from the Dutch slider. Oop. Little hard, 10 to 11. Not too bad into 13, little late into 14. Good exit though, this is nice and straight. His runner choice might have been to give himself some control in the frost. The thinner runners probably cut through it a fraction as well. Little wavy in 16, at the line, 22nd. So he's behind Valentino Buff, which is good news for Valentino. A little less good for Yuri, with only 2 sleds behind him and a few more to come. 8 more to come. We now have 24 sleds down out of 32. Good starting though, 12th best getaway, 4:67. See the way the hands move back to the back of the handles there, back of the saddle. Get your arms clamped to your side. That's what holds you onto the sled. You're not buckled on in any way. And you see that quite often. There's air time between the body and the sled. Well, is it enough? He doesn't know. I can't tell you. We're going to have to wait and find out. Same, I guess, possibly for Timon Drajanovski. Finished 31st yesterday. 25th last season, made the cut. Hasn't made the cut so far this year, though. 34th in Cortina, 32nd in Lillehammer, 31st yesterday. As more and more sleds flood into this pre-Olympic season, or this Olympic season. 4:98 getaway, giving it as much as he can off the start. '24th at the start. So let's see if he can pick up a place or two. A little noisier than Yuri van Kopperveld. A couple of more late exits, or having to work hard in 11, the double steer there. The more you steer, the more ice you cut, the slower you go, because it demands friction to get the steers in. Paddling his way down to 15, and again bouncing around all the way to 16, was up to 23rd best speed, but he's going to be at the tail of the field with a 53.51. The ex-bobsleigh driver Dominik Dvorak now overseeing the Czech Republic's bobsleigh and skeleton teams. All right. At the moment, he's in the race, but there are still 7 to come. That may not be enough for Timon Drajanovski. He's got 2 or 3 experienced sliders behind him. One Latvian and another from Ukraine who knows the track very well. And then the likes of Dan Barefoot, who qualified yesterday. So of the remaining sliders, 4 made the cut yesterday. And that means that maybe 4 or 5 of our sliders might be in trouble here. First to go, Alexander Schlentner, start draw number 26. Finished 19th yesterday. And that was up a couple of spots in the second heat from 21st in the first run, 4:66. What was he starting yesterday? 4.70 and 4.72. So the slightly colder evening air does look as though it might have helped that start track a fraction. Almost everybody seems to be going a whisker quicker than yesterday. And again, another stylish slider from Austria. Smooth, relaxed, long, lean. Great aerodynamic form. Or just a little late out of 14, doesn't panic and steer. Up to 19th, or down to 19th from 12th at the start. Only 22nd best speed. It's going to be close. He should be in, and he is in 21st place, ahead of Valentino Buff. Well, he was 21st at the end of yesterday's first run. He's 21st again. Had a best of 14th place on this track. That was in November 2020. Took a bit of a hit on the run, down to 15, skidding off 15. You see the hit just pulls the jersey off as well, the number. And into 16 from the wrong side. Still work to do at the bottom. Now then, the older of the Booth brothers, Vincent, 24 years old. 24th place yesterday. Needs to finish ahead of brother Valentino to guarantee a second heat. 21st at the start with 4.80. And again, like his younger brother, long, lean. I mean, really, if you think of what a fish looks like, why it cuts through the water so well, if you can simulate that as close as possible with a body, then it'll help you cut through the air. Helps tidy up the airflow at the back, helps to use your body for steering. 22nd place on the splits. 21st best speed. Alex Schlentner is 21st at the moment. He's up to 20th place. This is putting him into the second heat, no question. 21st at the line, 51.94. So he is ahead of Alex Schlentner, and younger brother Valentino is 23rd. So no second heat now for Nick Tucker for the second night in a row, for Timon Dranovski for the second day in a row. But Vincent Buff is in. He's his brother Valentino down the order a little. Valentino in 23rd might be in trouble. Out of 14, gets a skid going. And then uses his legs in the air to negate that. Spread legs, couple of toes tapping away there through 15, trying to get the exit he wanted. That cost him time, but maybe not as much as falling off 15. That was a decent exit. For Italy then, Giovanni Marchetti, yesterday finished in 30th place. Second time he's raced here, he was 22nd as his result last year. Couldn't match that yesterday. 4.69 getaway. So 15th at the start. Does need to have a super clean run. Nice down through 3 into 4. Nice transition 5 to 6. I was just going to say listen, but you can hear a truck going by outside. Out of 10. Oh, having to double steer 11. Oh, big hit, 12 to 13. It puts him offline in 13. He's going to scramble through 14. And although the exit wasn't bad, he'll have had to have worked hard for that. From 15th out to 23rd, and low speed. Almost the slowest sled we've seen. Not sure it's enough. Just in at the moment, 52.58. Two hundredths ahead of Yuri van Kupperveld of the Netherlands. Crikey, it's close, isn't it? From the top to the bottom. Well, normally at the top. A few more gaps today. Well, where might he have lost an extra 200ths of a second? Pretty much everywhere. But he managed somehow just to squeeze in front. Again, early off 15, not the worst.
12-13.
Corner 13, yeah. 12-13 is such a hard transition. So, Juri van Kupperveld is on the bubble. Giovanni Marchetti in 24th, also in danger. And will it be the teenager, 18-year-old Yaroslav Lavrenyuk from Ukraine, who bumps one of them out? Finished in 25th place yesterday. Previous best here before yesterday's race was 35th last season. And a 4:88 start. All right, that's only a couple of hundreds behind Vincenz Buff, and he made it up into 21st place. So Lavrenyuk, the 4th place, I beg your pardon, the youth silver medalist in 2024, has got a good chance. He knows the track well. 27th at the start, needs to build speed. Oh, and I think that might be the undoing of him. 23rd best speed, not going to be enough. He hasn't got enough at the line. He's going to come across in 26th, doesn't make the second heat. 52.85. Well, he did yesterday, but he won't today. 25th, 29th, 25th, and currently 26th with 3 to go. He might end up 28th here. Let's see where we go. And it's that fine line, not just for every position, but even to get a second run, you know, within a few hundreds of that target and come up tantalizingly shy. And here, out of 15, yeah, he will have known. Skidding all the way. Yeah. And when the sled breaks away, it's gone. Davis Valdovskis, 4th in the Youth Olympics, the 19-year-old, in Pyeongchang last spring, 2024. 7th World Cup start for him. He was 14th here on his debut last year. Did not make the cut last night. He was 29th. Well, that's an okay start, 4:74. Again, still very young. Not the most experienced slider, and also got a lot of years in front of him to really tailor his body for fast starting. 19th at the start, out to 26th, and the speed is not there. Only the 30th best speed. That's the second slowest so far. No, it is the slowest so far. And Davis Valdovskis didn't make the cut yesterday. It's gonna be tough today. 24th best speed. Not sure he's got enough. At the line, 24th, he does. Just waiting to see if Ivo Steinberg's smile there didn't quite get round to it, but 52.51, he's in. So both the young Latvians are in. Juri van Kupperveld is out. And with 2 to go, Giovanni Marchetti is on the bubble for Italy. So 29th yesterday, Davis Valdovskis, and he kept it clean at the bottom of the track, just enough to give him speed across the line. Is that enough? 2 to go. Only one of whom made the cut yesterday, but both of whom should. Let's wait and see. First of our last 2 is Jacob Salisbury from Great Britain, 20th in the World Cup rankings. Finished 26th place yesterday. There's his 3 teammates watching. Tabby Stoker, Freya Tarbit, Amelia Coltman, yesterday's bronze medalist. 4:57 getaway. He can really start a sled. And can he quiet his mind down enough to bring that speed to the bottom? 4th best start, quiet here. But he's already losing ground, losing speed. From 4th at the start, out to 16th on the splits. 25th best speed. Where's it all going? There's no massive dramas in the drive. 20th. Decent run through 15. Good out of 16. 19th, 20th. He should be in. He should be in. And he is 21st. He must have been a little apprehensive of this third run on the track after missing the cut yesterday. Of course, it's only his second run because he didn't get a second run yesterday. Martin's two course just cleaning off the runners.
Not in a shot, please. Showmate.
I had to crash at some point.
Well done, sir, well done.
All right, so Jacob Salisbury. There we go, gets it clean at the bottom of the track. And out of 15, this time nice and clean. Straight down the tubes. Kind of a little left in 16, but that'll do. And the dismount. Never get off the sled until it's stopped. Our final slider then also made the cut yesterday, Dan Barefoot. So it's jeopardy for Latvia's Dārvis Valdovskis. One of them will be in, one of them will be out, unless it's a dead heat for 25th. And stranger things happen at sea, 4.70. Two previous World Cups on this track. He finished 23rd and 23rd. And yesterday he finished 23rd. So what's he going to do today? Well, 17th at the start, already out to 22nd on the splits, out to 23rd. The speed isn't great. Oh, lots of yawing in 11, hits the wall into 12, on the wrong side into 13, late out of 13. He's got to gather it up. A lot of steering going on there. And that's the end of it, isn't it? Yep. Not remotely the run he wanted. And he's barely going to make it across the line. A horror story for Dan Barefoot, 53.74. He knew he had to push it everywhere. And in the end, it just didn't go his way. Well, that's not the run you want before Christmas. Probably the worst he's had down this track. Certainly this week, I wouldn't be surprised if he would consider that his worst run on this track, even as a rookie in his first year. And here, look at this, in 11, sled yawing all over the place, comes out of 11, head down towards the wall, big boom, gets pushed onto 13 in the wrong place, and 15 just hasn't got enough speed to carry it through. The height is there, but it comes off in the middle of the track. But legs akimbo and skidding all over the place. All right, there you go. Not the best of evenings to go away to Christmas, but some support in the stands. At the other end of the field, our winner last year, Marcus Wyatt, our silver medalist yesterday afternoon, Marcus Wyatt. That was his third silver medal on this track. He is our race leader, and like Matt Weston yesterday, he has a big advantage, or he did, for most of the run, until Matt Weston came in 1300ths behind him.
Not bad, better than yesterday. One more to go.
So it is Wyatt and Weston battling for victory. Yesterday's bronze medalist Felix Kaisinger, 2/10 clear of anybody else. That may be the biggest spread of times I've seen in a top half dozen in Sigulda ever. And it's not snowing or anything. It's absolutely wild. If you could find a clean run, you were flying, and if you couldn't, well, you were a long way back. Our final slider, who does make the second heat in 25th place, it is Dārvis Valdovskis, the teenager from Latvia. From Giovanni Marchetti in 26 on back, they'll be watching the final heat of 2025 from trackside, and you can join them. 19:45 local, 17:45 GMT, 12:45 Eastern, Wherever you are, join us in just over 25 minutes for the final heat of the weekend for the men's skeleton to round out our Saturday evening sliding in Sigulda.
Not bad, better than yesterday. One more to go.